In this video, we're going to show you how to install the brake flex hose on your Explorer Interceptor located behind the front wheels. With the vehicle raised and supported, you want to go ahead and remove the center cap. You can use a pry tool such as a small pry bar or something like that and gently get behind that and twist that, pop it off. Using a 19mm socket, go ahead, loosen and remove the lug nuts. Go ahead and grab that wheel, remove it, and set it aside. Now we went ahead and we kicked our wheel outward to give us better access to the brake flex hose. Now you don't have to do this, but I like to. I'm going to use some pliers here. I'm going to pinch this, and what's going to happen is that's going to stop the fluid from continuing to run down. I'm going to go loosen and remove this bolt right here. Using a 14mm socket, I'm going to go ahead and loosen this. Now fluid is going to come out of this here, so we have a catch can underneath, and you want to wear safety glasses because if you're using power tools, it might spin that fluid around and get on you. Now when you remove this here, there's going to be two copper washers. These are crush washers. These are designed to seal the union block here to the caliper itself. You want to make sure that you locate and remove both of them. Now one is here on the head of the bolt side, and on ours it came off on the other side here. So there's both of them. Now I want to go ahead and remove the bolt and washers. I'm going to hold that washer there. The only thing we're going to be reusing here is the bolt. So remove that, set that aside, and there is the other washer right here. It's stuck to it. But we're not going to be using that anyways, so you can let that go. Let's go ahead and clean up around our caliper hose port here. Be careful not to wipe any dirt into it. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and grab your banjo bolt. Now the banjo bolt has ports in it, has a port right here, and one on the end for the fluid to flow through. To make sure that bolt is nice and clean, go ahead and take one of the new washers, drop that over. Go ahead and take your flex hose, install it like this. Pay attention to the bend in the hose. It's going to swoop out and upward. Go ahead and take that other copper washer, put it right on the other side of that bolt. So it's going to sandwich that junction block right there. Go ahead and line this up and get that banjo bolt started. And we'll go ahead and snug that down. Now there is going to be a torque spec for this here, and we'll come back to that. Now what we want to do is go over to the old line at the other end. Now up at the other end here, we have a hard line coming in, and there is a union right here. That is a 13mm. And on the top is a retaining horseshoe clip. What we're going to do first is we're going to loosen this line right here. Now, sometimes these can be finicky, they can be stuck. Sometimes you want to hold that bracket, keep it from flexing around. There it is. Get that to break loose. Now when doing something like this here, depending on the age of your vehicle, if the hard line itself starts to twist with the nut, you need to stop. Focus on loosening this here without twisting that hard line. Use some rust penetrant, whatever you need to use to get that to loosen separately from that hard line. If that hard line twists and snaps, well, you just open up a can of worms and you're going to have to start doing hard line service work as well. So go ahead and work that gently back and forth. Now Now you are going to lose fluid from this, even though we have that clamp on the other side here. There is fluid coming through this hard line and sitting right inside. Now we have a little bit of fluid leaking right here, so we know that we're at a stopping point for this. Now I want to come up to the horseshoe clip right here, and I'm going to use a pair of pliers. I'm going to grab the edge of this here, and I'm going to twist and rock it towards me, and you're going to see in just a moment why we call it a horseshoe clip. There it is. And it does have an arch on it. So when you install this here, you want to make sure that that arch is facing upward so it spring-loaded and it locks that hose in place. Let's go ahead and loosen this hard line. And this part here, it's going to move pretty quick. It's always good to be wearing gloves when doing this job here because you are going to get brake fluid running down your hands. So good to wear gloves and safety glasses when doing a job like this. You're going to pull the hard line out and then drop this hose down. There it is. And go ahead and take our new line and insert that and go ahead and start to thread that line into that block. Now when doing this job here, you want to be careful not to cross thread this union fitting here, or flare fitting, whatever you want to call it. Once again, if you cross thread it, you're going to be replacing hard line and fittings. So take your time. Now I'm not going to tighten that. I just want to get it pretty close. Wipe off my gloves. Brake fluid is very, very slick. And if you're using gloves, it's going to make it hard to handle everything. At this point here, I'm going to take this here and I'm going to insert the top up into that bracket. Just like so. Go ahead and take that horseshoe clip, line that up, and push that on. Once that's secured, let's go ahead and continue to tighten down that fitting right here. You want to make sure that it's good and snug. Good, take some spray solvent. Now that we have our two ends secured at both the joint right here as well as the caliper, we're now going to go ahead and start a gravity bleed on that brake caliper. Now on the brake caliper itself, right above the flex hose joint here, you're going to find the bleeder screw. Now ours has a little rubber cap on it. Yours may or may not have it. Sometimes they get lost over the years, but you just grab it, pinch it, and pull it off. It's just a little rubber cap. Now this right here is the bleeder screw. It's a 10 millimeter, so we're going to use the box wrench end here to go ahead and loosen this. And we can see we have fluid coming out. Now what we're doing is we're going to open that up and hopefully the brake fluid is going to push any air bubbles. You can see it bubbling right there. It's exactly what we're trying to do here is get out any air bubbles out of that brake line. And we're waiting for a solid stream of fluid to start coming out. Looks like we have a solid stream of fluid coming out. By moving this hose around, sometimes it'll get any bubbles to shake out of it. But it looks pretty good, solid stream. I'll go ahead and close this down. It's best to snug it with the box end wrench so you don't strip it. Take some spray solvent and we're going to clean this up. Make sure you wipe up and clean any residual brake fluid. You don't want this dripping on your driveway or on your garage floor when you're all done. We're going to put our cap on. At this point here, we want to go ahead and top off our brake fluid up at the master cylinder. Now open the engine compartment on the driver's side with the hood open. You're going to go ahead and locate your master cylinder right here, and this is where your brake fluid is going to go. You're going to start by using some spray solvent. Give it a spray and clean it down. We don't want to have any debris fall down inside of our master cylinder when we open that up. The other thing, when you remove this here, it's probably going to give you an idea what type of brake fluid is recommended for your particular vehicle. This particular one says DOT4 brake fluid. So that's what you want to use. Now before you fill this here, make sure you locate your max level on the side here. It's going to say max with a little line. Go ahead and use a clean funnel and want to go ahead and add the appropriate brake fluid for the vehicle. And once you fill that up to the max line, we're going to go ahead and put our cap on. Next thing you want to do is hop into the vehicle and pump up your brake pedal. And you want to make sure that that feels good. And you go ahead and start up the vehicle. Press that brake pedal several times to the floor and make sure that it feels good. If the brake pedal feels soft and spongy, go ahead and repeat that brake bleeding process on that wheel again, doing a gravity bleed. If it is still soft and spongy, at that point you want to go ahead and complete the brake bleeding vehicle process. At that point there, you should be all set. Go ahead and grab that wheel. Line it up on those studs, pop it on. We're going to go ahead and get all of our lug nuts started. Once we get all these started, we're going to go ahead and snug them down. Now when snugging these down, it's best if you go ahead and snug them down in a crisscross or a star pattern. Now you want to go ahead and torque down your lug nuts to 110 foot-pounds. Preferably you want to do this in a crisscross pattern. When you're all set, grab the center cap, line up the dimples with the lug nuts, pop it on, and you're all set. With the hood open, go ahead and locate your master cylinder reservoir, which is right here on the driver's side of the firewall. Now before we open this up, I want to go ahead and use some spray solvent and spray off around the top and wipe it down. I want to make sure that we don't introduce any debris into the brake system by doing so. Open up the cap. Now on the cap, in most cases you're going to notice that it tells you what type of brake fluid to use. In our case it says DOT4, so we want to go ahead and make sure we have that ready to go. Next we're going to go ahead and use an evacuation tool. You can use a turkey baster or something like this here to go ahead and pull out as much of that brake fluid as possible. You may not be able to get a lot out, but you want to go ahead and clean out what you can. Have a separate container to put that into. And continue to do this. Now in our case, due to the design here, we can't get a lot out, but that's fine. We got it out as much as we could. Next thing you want to do, grab a clean funnel, and we want to top this off with clean brake fluid. Now because we're going to be performing a brake bleeding process, we're allowed to go ahead and overfill this above the fill line. Grab our cap, put it on, and seal it up. Now we're going to start our brake bleeding process. Now we have someone inside the vehicle going to help us out with this. Now we're going to start at the right rear, which is the passenger side rear. Then we're going to go over to the left rear and then over to the right front, and we're going to end with the driver's side front. Now we have a container here with a hose. We have our 10mm wrench, and what we're going to do is we're going to have the person inside the vehicle pump up the brakes about 3 to 4 times and hold that pressure. Then what I'm going to do while they're holding pressure, we're going to open this up, release the pressure, and we're going to repeat this several times to get some of that dirty fluid out as well as any air bubbles. Okay, pump them up. Okay, they inform me that they're holding, so we're going to open this up. Okay, good, pump them up. So when we open this up and that fluid comes out, the pedal inside the vehicle is going to go to the floor. They inform me that it's at the floor. Then we close this, then they can release the pedal and repeat the process. Go ahead. One more time. Now we can see we have some good clean brake fluid coming out and no air bubbles. So that's it right there. So we're done with this one. I'm going to go ahead and remove our tube and close this up. Make sure it's good and snug. Now any residual brake fluid at this point here, you want to go ahead and use some spray solvent and clean this up. In some cases, you may have a rubber cap on your brake bleeder screw. Ours does not have it on this particular wheel, but if you have that rubber cap, go ahead and pop that back on. We're going to now go ahead and continue this process to the driver's side rear. Now that we've completed bleeding the driver's side rear wheel, you want to go ahead and top off your master cylinder before we continue. Open up the reservoir cap. Now that we have this filled up, we can go ahead and put our cap on. Now that we've topped off our master cylinder, we can now continue with the right front wheel. Remove the rubber cap. Go ahead and pump up the brakes. Pump it up. And one more. Okay, pump it up. And when you're all set, you can release. Now I'll finish up with the driver's side front. Open up the reservoir cap. Sometimes you might notice with some of the fluid missing that the center rubber boot here will be sucked out. Just kind of push that back in. Now at this point here, you want to go ahead and fill it to the full line or max line. It's located on the driver's side of the reservoir. It's near the top, but you'll see it on the side. Now that we have this filled up, we can go ahead and put our cap on. And you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.